For Tuesday, May 4th. Seating may be limited. If you would like to send in a comment for public comment to be read on your behalf, please submit that to our city clerk at jstrand@cityofisanti.us or give her a call at 763-762-5759. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If we could all rise for Pledge Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Doing roll call, all council members are physically present. Good to have you back, Councilman Gordon. Thank you. Any public comment at this time? If so, you are more than welcome to step up and state your name and address at the podium. None at this time. Do I have a motion? Oh, I see we have some modifications here. Hopefully the councils went over those modifications. K3, L14, and a closed session. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda with those modifications? Ms. Wood, you want to say something?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'll just read those aloud. So the modifications to tonight's agendas are as follows. Adding business item K3, which would be fire district training discussion. Removing consent L14, approving the offer of full-time police officer for Jesse Zajac. Add consent, new item L14, accepting received quotation for liquor store refrigeration systems, and then adding a closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D.05, please.
Make a motion to approve with the agenda modifications.
Second.
I have a motion to approve the agenda with the modifications from Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Proclamations, commendations, and I can't even get it out of my mouth today. Certificate award for 2020 Wastewater Treatment Award. In front of me, I have the commendation for the wastewater treatment facility for the city of Isanti and its staff, which does a remarkable job. He's not here for me even pat him on the back. See, Mr. Sylvester skipped out on us. Good job by them fellas over there. I know we've gotten this, Miss Wood, for many of years, but it always seems to bring warm fuzzies every year I get this in hand. So I love to see it. Good job by Public Works.
I got a question. Ms. Wood, why was their quote higher than what they originally quoted?
For the refrigeration, the quote that came to SCH that they had received came in higher, and it was beyond the 30 days. Therefore, they couldn't honor that price.
Yeah, it's unfortunately.
The volatility of the market materials just keeps creeping up, so that's why we added it this evening, so it couldn't go up any higher.
Yeah, that's unfortunately that is.
We don't lock these things like yesterday.
Well,
it's going to happen.
That's why I wanted that special session on approving of the contract, so that we could try to nip some of this in the bud while we could, because all materials are going up. I just got another notification that metal is going up another 20%, and PVC is going up another 30%. It's just, lumber is going up daily. So, yeah. So if we accept this contract, now they're signing, sealed, and delivered.
And excuse me, I said SCH, but I meant SCR. I apologize.
Yep. No, the only reason I question it is because I thought it was going to be under one of the
We
K
accept
items.
this tonight, Ms. Wood. That means that price is locked. They can't go up, right?
Correct. That's our understanding.
Thank you.
All right. Approval of the city council minutes for March 23rd, a Park and Recreation Cultural Board meeting, April 13th, a special city council meeting, April 20th, a regular meeting of the city council, and April 20th, the committee of the whole.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Announcements. Committee of a Whole will be Tuesday, May 18th at 5 p.m. City Council meeting will also be May 18th at 7 p.m. And then we'll have a Planning Commission meeting Tuesday, May 18th that will immediately follow that council meeting. Any council committee reports? I went to Athens Township meeting last night. It's great to have a good relationship with our neighboring townships, city. I do got to pass along that they've pretty much patted each and every one of us on the back, saying we're doing a bang-up job. No pun intended, of course, but they said you guys are all doing great up there. You seem like a great team, and I can't disagree. So, but it was nice to see how our townships do things versus us. Different, but nice. We have no public hearings. Let's move on to business items. K1, ordinance amending City Code Chapter 87, keeping of certain animals. Ms. Selman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. What we have before you is City Code Chapter 87 amendment, keeping of certain animals, to add honeybees to our ordinance. We took the suggestions from the last call meeting. This has been posted, and the ordinance is before you for consideration. One thing I wanted to note is that we did add the language that the city reserves the right to spray or otherwise treat for mosquitoes and other potential insect disease vectors, and is not liable for adverse effects on the health of honeybees that may result from such spray treatment.
And then is there also, they have to get neighbors' approval?
Yes,
Right.
so it would be through the registration,
Okay.
yeah.
And how do we do that? Did we decide just the adjacent neighbors? Is that what we decided?
Yeah, that's what you guys had talked about at COW, was to
Yeah.
the adjacent neighbors. So
Okay.
Ryan and my department has created the form for the registration and the form for the neighbors to sign, and also a handout based on the ordinance. And then I sent that over to the police chief to approve, since his staff will be dealing with that, but that's also ready.
I don't mean to chuckle, but you should see the form. It's got a little beehive on our city logo, the
Oh,
tree.
yeah,
and-
you've seen it.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
cool looking. And what was the saying on it, Miss Wood? You showed it to me, and I was like, that is so awesome. Bee.
I can't remember the name.
Yeah, I
of it.
can't
It was in a honeycomb.
Yeah, it was a honeycomb, and it said bees. Oh, it was pretty cool. Ryan was pretty creative on that, and kudos to him. Any discussion on this item?
I just want to say that we have to, I brought this up when we discussed this at COW, is, we got to draw a fine line on a lot of things, on keeping certain animals in town. One's going to come up, it's going to be ducks, and then it's going to be geese, and it's going
already
to be
coming.
turkeys, and it's going to be, next thing it's going to be goats and everything else. And I'm sorry to say, if you want to have a little farmland, then you need to move out into the country. The bees are one thing, there's been a certain things like the chickens, that's always been a discussion, in which chickens actually do something for, people with eggs or whatever. But I just wanted, my 2 cents on this is, I hate to tell people no, but you do live in town, and you do have to accept some things retrospect. I grew up on a farm. I had all these things: pigs, horses, cows, everything.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm not
I
going to
just-
disagree with you, Councilman Lundin, but when it comes to pigs, cows, sheep, llamas, alpacas, or something of a larger animal, I would wholeheartedly agree with you. But when it comes to something this small, I have a cousin that has a chicken egg allergy. Ironically, we have a resident here that's contacted me on it too. And it happens. People can't eat chicken eggs, so then well, what about duck eggs? They lay twice as much, and I'm not allergic to them. So there's kind of, and I totally understand what you're saying. There's a fine line. We got to stop somewhere, but
I get it too, but I think as long as we don't have people complaining, I mean, I think once we turn Isani into a farmland, I think.
It doesn't hurt for anybody to come in front of us and ask.
And say, hey, I don't, yeah.
Certain animals though will attract other animals to come into town to eat those animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true,
I agree,
Chickens,
yeah.
ducks.
true.
Fox.
All that.
True.
Will be next thing.
Coyote.
The thing is I'm gonna tell you right now, I love seeing geese. Trust me, I do. But I've been into many, many, many cities and talked to many, many residents when they're putting all these holding ponds and retaining ponds in. All of a sudden the geese are sitting there and they're flocked up in these holding ponds. They walk up and they crap all over everybody's yard.
Yep.
And all of a sudden everybody says, I don't want these geese.
Yep.
Well, you're required to have these holding ponds. The natural geese are gonna come. Now all of a sudden you wanna start bringing them in? Now you're creating a problem because you're allowing them to come in supposedly as a pet. One goose is gonna bring in 10 wild ones. It does. The same thing's gonna happen with ducks.
I had 2 Canadian geese in the city of Minneapolis as a kid, and those things grew up in the city of Minneapolis, mind you, North Minneapolis, 2 Canadian geese. And they come out one day, and they started to grow, and they got the size that we see all around. And they come out one day, and I had, I kid you not, 8 to 10 of them things in my yard. And I was like, oh my God, my mom was screaming at me. It was, so needless to say that the geese had to go. But
That's what I'm just saying.
Councilman Lundin's right on that.
I'm just saying is you're gonna start creating more and more and more and more problems by allowing more and more and more things.
And from what I understand, their feces is very toxic.
Yes.
Well, I guess when we get to that point, I mean, so far so good.
Right.
What have we done, 3?
Knock on wood. Let's knock on wood.
We've done chickens.
I just want you to
Does-
understand,
Carrier pigeons.
it's the next person's, well, you let them have chickens, now you let them have geese, now
Right.
you let them have turkeys. I wanna have goats, miniature goats.
Oh, not happening.
That's
Not
what
in
I'm
my
saying
mind.
is, you have to draw a line
Yeah,
someplace.
No, I totally agree with what you're saying.
But it doesn't hurt for them to come up and ask the
Yeah, it
council,
doesn't hurt.
by all means. I mean, we're either gonna agree or disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I think we
always seem
should-
to do good.
Yeah, I think we should accommodate as many as possible, and, you know, if there's some that might interfere with the neighbor's happiness, then maybe we gotta take that into consideration, but otherwise, I say, let's try to get as many done as we can.
Yeah, by all means, come and ask. I mean, it doesn't mean you're gonna get it, but it doesn't hurt to come and ask. Come and talk to us. I welcome anybody to talk to this council. I know
Yeah.
you gentlemen do, so. But I get what you're saying, Councilman Lundin.
So
No, I
I'll
do
make a
too,
motion to
absolutely.
accept.
Second.
Motion to accept this ordinance by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Move on to K2, the resolution awarding the bid for the 2021 Storm System Maintenance Project. Mr. Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. So this is the regular storm system project, our last year of it, aside from the culverts along Whiskey Road. This does also include the storm sewer repair along Whiskey, south of Main Street. We solicited 4 contractors for bids, received 2. Dirtworks Company was the low responsible bidder. It was also below the engineer's estimate and below budget. So we're just recommending proceeding with them. They're also the ones that have done all of the last 4 years of projects, so they know what they're getting into and we know what we're gonna get. So.
And they're also doing the work at the liquor store.
Yep.
Yep.
Any discussion on this item? I love hearing below budget. I love hearing that.
I make a motion to approve.
And local.
Right?
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Cook. K3, the Fire District Training Discussion. Ms. Wood.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to basically make you aware, and then we do have one request from Chief Jankovic. They're going to be doing, or they plan to do on Monday, a live burn training. That'll be a prop brought in the size of a skid loader trailer. It's made of metal, and they put cardboard and wood in there to simulate a house fire, and then they do training with the firefighters of how to put that out. They don't believe that there will be any problems within doing that in the city limits. They plan to do it in what's more of a recent purchase of their lot, which is the old school bus lot. If you're familiar with that on First Avenue, just on the east side there. So I just want to make council aware, if you have any concerns, please share those with me. And he also made the request that they'll be using approximately 2,000 gallons of water. And he requested that the fee of our bulk water charges be waived for this training.
When I was on the fire department, we did those things. Matter of fact, what it was Chief Paul Zine had built a trailer specifically for that. And they also did live LP burns. He had a tank set up for LP burns. I personally don't see any reason to charge them for that water. It's not gonna be any sewer usage. I mean, it's just gonna, you know, be ground runoff, whatever. And I think it just betters our department for our city. That's,
I'm not one to shun, I mean, that's like telling our police department we're not gonna give them $2,000 in training. That would be just silly on our behalf, as well as the fire department. I'm not gonna shun any education, whether it's police or fire. Public safety is huge in my mind, so if it's gonna educate them to possibly save one of our residents' houses, more power to them. No public, from what I understood, there was no public safety concern. It was in a structure. The only thing that we probably should be aware of, the lieutenants in the back, is you're probably going to get police calls thinking there's a fire there. So I'm glad you're here to be aware of this.
As you're aware, Mayor and Council, when we revised City Code Chapter 119 for open burning, it was revised or amended, I should say, to not have permitting go through the city. That's why you don't have a permit for that if you are used to seeing a permit come through. So the permitting process lies just with the fire district and the chief. He did state in his email that if it ended up being a little windy and smoke was going towards Heritage and kind of leaving the site, that they would stop the training. So he didn't believe that there would be anything, but was hopeful that any kind of PR that was raised because of this training would help to maybe do some recruiting and just showcase the fact that the fire district is here, they do these trainings, and it's a great cause.
I think I'd like to add something to this on there, is I don't necessarily think that they need to come in and, you know, announce like he did this time for this. I think that they should be just goodwill, that they can, whenever they want to do it, but I think they should give us plenty of notifications so that our
Send us
PD
an email anyway, keep the communications open, and
Yep, just
say,
to
hey,
notify it.
just to let you know, we're doing a fire training exercise on this date at this time.
And then approximately how much water they're gonna use, so we do know what's going on.
My recommendation would be then, because I don't have a resolution that states that we would waive water usage charges for the fire district trainings, I would ask that you make a motion for that, that would work for this training as well as other fire district trainings. So we have that.
I make a motion that we waive the fees for this training and any future, but with the notification that they're going to do it at any time.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilman Lundin to make the motion of waiving water fees for now and future training exercises with the communication of the fire district doing any training exercises, of course. And a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda or any
can I ask a
discussion? I was
question?
waiting for that. A discussion on those items, Councilman Gordon?
All right. Mike, I was wondering, so on the community building over here, the oven needs to be changed out, and it wasn't in there, but it was the dishwasher, I think, instead, or something like that, right? So is the oven, I mean, is it like a big commercial one? Because it was like $7,000 or something we had budgeted for the...
So I can speak on what that is. So it is a commercial convection oven. The benefit of having the convection oven over using the ranges oven is that you don't have to turn the natural gas on and light all the pilot lights to be able to use that. It is one thing that we've struggled with of having renters over there, that if they, not all, we try to light the pilot lights for them if we know they're gonna use the range or the ovens within that. Because if they don't light all of them, there'll be a gas smell, and then they'll call the police or call us saying that I smell gas. Well, there is like 8 pilot lights that need to be
Sure.
lit, and it's easy to miss. So we do recommend, if they don't need to use the top range, that they just use a convection oven, because it's just a switch, and then they set the dial, very user-friendly. And I believe that, I didn't work on the capital improvement items list for the community center, but I believe it was just missed on the list
Okay.
originally from a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's all I really wanted to know was, you know, if it was, if we really needed to replace it, and it sounds like we do.
I have a-
So, yeah,
I
I'm
have a
fine with it.
question too. Are you done? I'm sorry, you done?
Yeah, that's all I
don't
was
know
really,
If I could, Councilmember Gordon, add also,
Mhm.
part of the cost with this one is the fact that it does need a range, or a hood, I'm sorry,
Sure.
a hood, and we don't currently have one, so it's not in compliance. So
Okay.
that'll bring it into compliance.
sure.
Darn them compliances.
During the emergency meeting, it was mentioned that there was an alternative to putting the liquor store in as a police department. And I heard that some people went through the alternative building. I'm just wondering, is that gonna, are we gonna estimate that, or are we gonna appraise it, or?
It's on the,
Do we have a- do we have a
it's on the
pla-
consent agenda.
Great.
Okay, I looked for it, I didn't see it.
It is, where did I see it, Ms. Wood?
It's consent item L12.
Yeah, 12.
That is for the appraisal for that.
Oh,
Once we
okay.
have that back, we'll be able to discuss costs and purchasing potential.
Okay. I was just wondering where we're at, thank you.
Yep.
Any
Oh, motion-
other-
oh, go ahead.
Any other,
Motion to
Comment.
approve.
there we go.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Burgley and a second by Councilman Lundin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. There are no other, we do have a closed session that we need to now go into. So I am going to have to ask that the public step out in the hallway.
Mayor, we're going to first, if you could read the first statement on that next page.
Gotcha. I just flipped it. Persistent to Minnesota State Statute 13D.05, subdivision 2B, the authorities that authorize, the city council to close a meeting for the preliminary consideration of allegations or charges against an individual subject to its authority. There are allegations regarding an employee requiring consideration by the city council. Minnesota statute section 13D.05 subdivision 3B authorizes the city council to close this meeting for purpose of attorney-client privileges. So now I can go into,
Correct.
all right, now I can go into closed session.
Well, just to clarify, Mr. Mayor, the city council needs to meet with its attorney in a confidential setting to obtain advice regarding potential imminent legal action related to the city's allegations and defenses in a potential employment matter. So that's the basis of closing it on the attorney-client privilege. So there's two bases to close this meeting today. First, for preliminary consideration of charges or allegations against an employee, and a second independent basis is for attorney-client privilege. Just want to make sure we had a clear record on that.
No, that's what you're here for, so we appreciate you. So if the public would step out in the hallway, once it's over, we'll gladly welcome you back into the room.
Do we have a motion and a second and a vote to close?
Motion to close, go into closed session.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Lundin to go into closed session, and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Therefore, we are in closed session.